It's been 4 months since my last Ashes of Creation update video, so today I'm going to recap the past 4 development live streams for the people who casually follow the project and don't have time to tune into the hour-plus long live streams each month. In this video we'll cover the Alpha 2 Village Nodes update, the Event update, the Caravan System Preview, and the Alpha 2 Artisanship System Preview. But first, today's sponsor, Watcher of Realms, a next-gen fantasy RPG where a whole new experience awaits you, featuring a visually stunning world and lifelike 3D hero models with intricate details, all enhanced by top-tier audio-visual effects. Discover a new RPG experience with Watcher of Realms' unique 360 degrees real-time operation battlefield, where you control diverse heroes in dynamic maps to strategically block enemies from sky, land and water using your hero's special effects and abilities. The fast-paced 2 to 3 minute levels as well as the user-friendly upgrade system make Watcher of Realms the perfect game to play anytime and anywhere. The game also features epic boss battles against formidable foes like huge dragons and mighty stone men, each with different abilities and mechanics to challenge your team of heroes. Going into the holiday season, players can experience a festive themed camp with special decorations and exciting rewards. Collect hero shards for a free legendary hero and unlock skins through daily logins. Returning players will also receive rare resources and items as a warm welcome back to the realm. You can also join a large-scale Christmas event for even more rewards. Simply choose your camp, support your team, and vie for enemy honours in this epic showdown. So use my link to download and experience the magic of Watcher of Realms, where every moment is a new fantasy waiting to unfold. So the last time I updated you on Ashes of Creation, we covered the Mage Preview, Alpha 2 Cyclops World Boss Showcase, the Freehold Showcase, and the Alpha 2 Cleric Update. The August development update stream was a real highlight for me, as it was the first time we've had a glimpse at the village stage nodes in Ashes since Alpha 1, which was over 2 years ago, with the game since upgrading from Unreal 4 to Unreal 5. The stream starts out with Steven outside of a node, nice cape physics on display. We get a look at the node treasury UI where the mayor can create buy orders for resources that can be used by the node. They gathered some rocks, then ventured towards the node of Winstead, which is completely unrecognisable to the village stage nodes we saw in Alpha 1. We get a tour of the node, checking out various buildings such as the Caravanserai, some in-node housing, and vendors on the street. Visually, I thought this node looked unbelievably cozy. The textures, the small details, the subtle environmental animations made this look super immersive and a place I'd love to settle in as a hub for my adventures. Next we look at some more UI menus, one for a requisition agent, another for node tax rate, and a building menu UI, which shows how different node buildings basically have their own upgrade trees for specialization. For example, some nodes might want to build multiple blacksmiths, one blacksmith that specializes in sword crafting and another in axe crafting. So as a crafter, you'll probably want to settle in a node that has buildings specialized in a way that complement your desired crafting niche. Next, Steven shows off some building construction by building a smithy. He heads to an empty plot, gives the required resources to a construction foreman, and we're able to see an ultra sped up animation of the building being constructed piece by piece. Obviously, for full release, this building will come together over the course of several days, but so far I love the direction they've taken with this, seeing the footprint and foundation of the building being laid with NPC workers hammering away. This is some epic attention to detail, once again adding to that sense of immersion we've been looking for in an MMO. Once the smithy is built, Steven crafts a sword at the anvil, then walks around the node showing off more of the visuals. Aside from the actual gameplay shown in this live stream, we also had a bunch of slides talking about citizenship, mayorship, mandates, mayoral commissions, policies, service buildings, and buy orders. Too much to go into in depth for this concise overview video. Overall, the August update was an absolute banger, a 2-hour plus live stream packed full of information, showing multiple systems working, and the response to this one from the Ashes community was extremely positive. Moving on to September's livestream, which was focused on the event system in Ashes. Starting out, the party moved through a forest, killing a few giant spiders. Eventually, an event is triggered ahead. Events in Ashes can be triggered based on multiple different factors, such as player activity in an area, story arcs, and node progression. Upon arriving at the event area, the 4-player group was automatically converted to a raid group, and they had to defend a caravan with its friendly NPCs from several waves of bandit attackers. More players eventually turned up to form an 8-player raid, and once the final wave was defeated, a reward chest was lootable. The event system basically works how you'd expect it to work when it comes to difficulty scaling, rewards based on contribution, and multiple stages. Events like this will likely be a nice distraction to mix up your gameplay whilst out and about in the world. This wasn't all for September's livestream though, as we finally got an announcement for Alpha 2. Sometime in 2024. I kinda expected that to be the case, but yeah, nice to finally have the confirmation now. Other than that, we also had some art updates, which I'll flash on screen for you to look at now. And that was pretty much it for September. A decent stream, but certainly not as hype as some of the others we've had this year. October's development livestream, however, was definitely one I'd consider to be one of the best this year, as it showed one of Ashes of Creation's largest, most complicated features in action, the Caravan System. The stream starts out with Steven inside a building with an NPC called a commodities vendor. First, he explains that the primary currency accepted by this vendor is a resource called Glint, which is a bound resource dropped by enemies in Vera. If you want to quickly convert this glint to gold, you can simply buy commodities from the vendor, then instantly sell it for gold. However, a more profitable decision would be to transport those commodities to a different node that doesn't have access to the same commodities, to then sell for a markup. Steven purchases his commodities, which are automatically placed in the storage, then heads over to the caravansary building in the node. He talks to a caravan master, which brings up a UI menu where you can purchase a basic caravan. Within this UI menu, you're also able to customize the caravan with various items which will affect its stats, such as speed, cargo size, as well as active abilities. Steven upgrades the caravan and we can see how the cargo size is increased. He places the commodities into the caravan from the storage menu, then clicks launch. Next, you need to find a location from which to launch your caravan within a certain proximity to the node. This is done so players can be sneaky and launch their caravans out of the sight of potential player bandits. Steven finds his caravan launch location, opens the UI, clicks on the caravan, and the caravan begins being summoned. This can take about 2 minutes. Eventually the caravan spawns and we begin our journey to the adjacent node. On the way, it's explained that the caravan will move faster on the road compared to off-road. However, on the road, players are more likely to encounter threats, such as Tumok the Cyclops, who we see roaming around, as well as other players. The party venture off-road, demonstrating that the caravan can't fall off cliffs. Then they cross a bridge, which realistically would be a dangerous choke point for player bandits to launch an ambush. Eventually, we also get to see an example of environmental danger and events that can occur whilst transporting goods in a caravan. One example being the road becoming blocked by a fallen tree, and another being an NPC ambush. Here we got to see the caravan abilities in action, in the form of an AoE heal, a speed boost, and a repulsion blast which sent enemies flying. The caravan finally makes it to the node, crossing the boundary to safety, and all of the commodities are automatically placed in the node storage, where they can be sold or repackaged for further transportation. Personally, I really enjoyed this livestream, and it once again highlighted to me that the entire economy, life skill, and world in Ashes is being designed to be absolute top tier. There were times during this showcase where I was just blown away by how immersive and cozy it looked transporting these goods, and I can imagine that the random chance of events spawning and the PvP risk vs reward will keep players engaged throughout the entire process. As usual, the stream ended with a short art showcase, so once again I'll flash that up on screen for you to take a look at. If you're a crafting geek, then November's livestream was probably your favourite update of the entire year. We once again start out in the Winstead node, which was showcased in the previous 2 livestreams. This time there's a few new artisan buildings completed in the form of animal husbandry, stonemasonry and lumberjacking artisan stations. Stephen opens his inventory and consumes a recipe for a weapon known as the Night Blade, which we'll be working towards crafting throughout this stream, giving us a full look at the crafting gameplay loop. Next we talk to an agricultural vendor who gives us an intro quest for herbalism. He gives us the mats to craft a sickle, we go to an anvil, craft it and hand in the quest. Each profession will have an intro quest like this where you'll get your first tool. We talk to the same NPC again, and he also sells various artisan related outfits and bags for the specific professions. During the livestream though, they didn't have the assets available to show off the cosmetic appearances of these outfits, but in the future there'll be an option to toggle the appearance for this on and off, which is great for immersion and RP. We got a quick look at the new material inventory UI, which now clearly separates each bag with its respective profession. The benefit of using specific material bags over normal bags is that you can have higher stack sizes for materials, and materials are automatically sorted into their respective bags. We got a clear look at the artisan UI, where you can see all of your equipped tools along with their durability at the side, as well as your profession XP and levels. We also got an early look at the skill trees for professions, with lumberjacking up to the apprentice level being the example shown. At higher levels this tree will likely have a lot more depth and options. Artisan skills will each have certification quests which you'll need to complete to level up to the next tier of mastery, for example going from novice lumberjacking to apprentice, which I think will add a lot of flavour for each of the game's professions. During this livestream we're progressing the lumberjack certification quest, with our first objective being reach level 10 lumberjacking. We head out into the world in search of resources to craft the sword and progress the lumberjack quest, and we also got a look at how corruption in Ashes of Creation can sweep across a zone if not dealt with by the players. Corrupted areas will be more dangerous to explore, but will also provide players with unique harvestable resources. Here we saw a giant ruby for example, and I absolutely loved the way this huge gem shattered into a cloud of red dust after it was mined. Once again, incredible attention to detail. Next, Stephen mined some basalt, again showing off some of the updated mining physics. Then we ventured deeper into the corrupted zone to try and gather a tree, but didn't have the certification level required. We also got to see some corrupted monster in the distance too, which looked very menacing. Back to the village, and we're shown an update to Ashes of Creation's nighttime visuals, with everything now being much more dark and immersive. I love how the moon looks in particular in this scene. The details really pop against the night sky. Next, a brief explanation on how players can specialise in their artisan skills. You can be a novice in all 22 professions, apprentice in 5 professions, journeyman in 4, master in 3, and grandmaster in 2. This in my opinion is really nice, as it allows everyone to at least try out and get a taste for each profession, without having to hard commit to one right in the beginning. The certification quests could also prevent players from accidentally leveling up a profession to the next tier of mastery. Next we go to the lumber milling station to process some materials to craft the apprentice axe needed to complete the certification quest. Processing in Ashes is an AFK activity, which will cost fuel to initiate. We start the job and it takes 1 minute to process the oak wood into oak timber. It's worth noting that the node level can affect the speed of processing, as well as the amount of processing slots. We finish crafting the apprentice axe and head back out into the world. At this point we're shown how different resources can spawn at night time. In the example showcased we had night opals and moon bells. Once again we return to the corrupted zone, this time with the correct certification to chop down a corrupted oak. With all the materials needed, we return to town and open up the crafting UI to craft the Night Blade, the recipe that was learned at the start of the livestream. Apparently, the intention with this design is that players can choose to add a selection of optional materials during the crafting process to change the stats and quality of a weapon. Stephen clicks the craft button, which would usually bring up a crafting minigame to forge a weapon, but unfortunately it wasn't ready to be shown yet. With the glorious Night Blade weapon forged, that wrapped up the gameplay section of the November livestream. A quick look at November's art showcase. And that's basically it for my quick recap of the past 4 months of Ashes development live streams. In total, we've had over 3 hours of gameplay shown to us these past 4 months, and in my opinion, 3 out of the 4 recent streams were what I'd consider to be absolute bangers, showing off multiple core systems in a working state, and the game's attention to detail and visuals continuing to blow me away. If it's one thing that Ashes of Creation has demonstrated to me over the past few months, is that this game will have some of the most interesting and in-depth systems when it comes to professions, economy, trade, player governments, and risk versus reward that we've ever seen in an MMO. It's been a long road, but it really does seem like Ashes isn't too far out of reach now, and I'm glad that we'll finally have the chance to actually play the game in a much more fleshed out state, with Alpha 2 confirmed for 2024. But that's it for this video. As always, let me know your thoughts on the past 4 months of Ashes updates in the comments below, and which one of these live streams impressed you the most. If you want to support my Ashes coverage, then sign up with my referral code, help us out with a like to appease the algorithm gods, social media on screen. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.